Hello, I am Melissa Wright, and I want to introduce you to a dear friend of mine. Her name is Maria Gomez Murphy, and she has an amazing project that she's working on that I want to share with everyone today, and just introduce you to her and let people know about what she's working on and who she is and um, I've known Maria for a while now. I am always intrigued by what she is working on and passion for what she does. She is a leader, a leadership facilitator. She's also an extremely giving person. She works with the poorest of poor to help them find their self-sufficiency and self-reliance. And just this is a woman with a very big heart. And the other thing that I love about Maria so much is that she's incredibly disciplined and hardworking. So she's really got both sides of the spectrum in that she's got the passion and the kindness and the generosity, and yet she's got this very analytical and driven mind that really gets things done. Which is just always so impressive to me. Maria is currently living on a beautiful piece of property in southern Arizona, and that's what we have come to talk about today. And Maria, hello.
Hello, what's up? Good to see you.
Thanks for taking some time to chat with me today.
Yeah.
Um, so tell me about this land. I love desertscapes. I find that when I need retreat, when I need to reconnect with what's true in my life, and cut out the clutter and the noise in my brain, in my heart, in my day-to-day, that going to the desert is extremely healing for me, and just it brings great clarity to me. Is that something that you find and can?
Well, thank you, Melissa, for asking that question. You know, people describe this land as being beautiful, and I would say that it speaks to me on a level of beauty. Certainly, there are things, especially when the desert is in bloom, that are extraordinarily colorful and beautiful. But I guess the real issue here is about spirit, and it's beautiful in spirit. It's a place where there is a sense of peace and quiet, and you can hear the ancient quality of the earth and the stone, and that's what attracts me to it and what started the project. I have a great affinity for place, for land, but this particular place, when I first walked on this earth, I was struck by and overcome by a sense of transcendence. And so my first instinct was to bring together, and what I saw was to bring together healers. One of the issues around here is that there's a lot of folk healers, a lot of people that have, ancient sense of herbs and so forth. But the problem is that younger generations aren't that interested in learning because it takes a lot of dedication, a study for year after year after year. It is a lifestyle rather than going and taking a course. It's a way of looking at things. And not everybody has that sense of patience to do that. So I wanted to bring people together because my sense has always been, how do I improve the human condition? How do I add value to reality as it is right now? How do I add to spirit? Do you come and just be, or do you come and try to add another piece to the puzzle or another fine and pure and strong thread to the weaving of our human experience and its society. And so that's what makes this place beautiful. And the desert in particular, I agree with you. There's something so raw. The stimuli is gone. And so there's something so raw and also very biblical in the sense of the 40 days in the desert, traveling through the desert, is a kind of spiritual pilgrimage that you can't find in other places. So it definitely speaks to me. I don't want to say that it's like a Sedona, but there is an aspect of that, of the earth itself resonating and speaking and having a presence, which I have not found in other areas.
And I would say that there are probably people that have not had that amazing experience of being out on the land where you can feel that presence, and so people might not even know what that is.
Right.
To have that, if you have only lived in something undescribable, maybe you can describe it, but very. I'm not a big fan of the word magic, but magical that happens when you're on certain places on this beautiful planet of ours. And I know Arizona has got some very powerful spots.
Well, I think that speaking to the issue of magic, I know that my experience here was that, I go through the world always looking for the truth behind the truth. I am a conscious person. I analyze, I try to experience things not on the surface, but on a deeper level. That's who I am. It's I couldn't be anything other than that. However, when I got here, I was struck by, in this piece of land, how in fact, I was aware of how life was so much bigger than just me and my own concerns and my daily, mundane kind of. Mundane is good, there's a sacredness to the mundane, but I was struck by how I was able to get out of my ego and have this experience because it was such a powerful, ancient experience. And I think I know that those things have to be treasured. And it's why I'm here and why I'm fighting to be here. I feel like I'm a steward and a caretaker, and that I've been given the opportunity to build on this land. And I appreciate the fact that you say that I'm somebody that gets something done, that I analyze, but I do get work done, because I believe that that's the legacy, that's the imprint, the genetic imprint that will pass on to other generations. So this is a place for transcendence, and it's what I want to share with other people, and working as hard as I possibly can and as gently as I possibly can to manifest.
I think it's amazing that you want to share, that you don't want to just have this solitary experience, but that everything that you are is about sharing with as many people as you can and touching lives. And so that's my understanding is that's why you want to open up this property to be more of a retreat center, and to be able to have other people come and have this experience that we're speaking of. And so that's the project. Can you tell me a little bit more about that vision?
And so what I did subsequent to seeing a group of healers was to bring together women throughout the whole state of Arizona who are working in the areas of maternal and child health. And what a wonderful metaphor for protecting the pure, the innocent, the bright light of children. And we had people, from the reservations, and people, like I said, from all areas, rural areas, urban areas in Arizona, who came together. There were about 30 women that came together, and we had a meal. We made a meal together, and we talked about. I really enjoy and had an experience in my mid-career program at a university in Massachusetts, of having roommates from all over the world, from China, from Tanzania, from Germany, from Spain, from Argentina, you know, just everywhere that you could think of. And what I really loved about that experience, and that's tied to bringing women together from Arizona, was to sit together and share the experience and wisdom of people working in different geographic and historical and political contexts to work on common issues that are occurring right now. And it was amazing to me throughout these years of experience how we're interconnected, we have common threads, and yet we're isolated. We're always isolated, thinking that it's only happening to us. And I believe that solutions have to be site-based, but there is a deeper level of the human experience where we share, you know, poverty on all kinds of levels and lack of resources, and not just geographic resources, but also, you know, financial and cultural resources. And that's the challenge of being human, is how do we, and I think the solution is, how do we understand that interconnectedness so that when you, Melissa, when you succeed, when I see you succeed, I also succeed, because you're my sister, you're my human sister, and that when I do something positive for the earth, that the earth pays back in so much abundance, that when we work towards having respect and having a gratefulness for all the gifts that we get on a daily basis from our context, that we get, you know, many-fold gifts in return. And I really and truly believe that, and so that's what my my focus is in the world, is how do I add value? How do I add art and beauty? So the project includes not only to bring together thinkers and philosophers and people who have good spirits and want to work together to provide solutions, to act on the common problems that we have in the world. And so there's that aspect of it, of having workshops and perhaps retreats in that area. And I certainly have connected to people all over the world that could come together and would like to come together to speak to these issues. The other issue is the issue of healing, all the modalities in healing. So that I have a particular interest in folk and herbal medicine, but there's a lot of other people working on different modalities that I would like to have come together. And I've worked in the area throughout the state of Arizona and through all the Southeast in my work with indigenous communities and medicine people, to share that experience so that we all gain. So if I learn a prayer, or I learn a certain way of using natural herbal tinctures or whatever, then when I find somebody who's sick, then I can use that. I can help them to do that. And what better place to bring children into the world when people are healthy, not just me as an individual, but all of us. Mm-hmm. And then there's the issue of art. I believe that our life is a work of art. And the way we express it through painting and theater and making movies and writing and so forth, that there would be an artist in residence component in this. So we want it to be multi-purpose. We want it to be a retreat, a refuge, and a sanctuary for good spirits to come to be, to think, and to act for the benefit of the common good, and not just for us as individuals. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I don't have that that energy where I'm interested in my own. It seems to me foolish to just be interested in my own individual purpose and satisfaction. So I'm Bear Clan. I'm Bear Clan of the Huichol people. And Bear Clan people, that's our job, is to nurture, to protect, to make a safe place for people to be able to live. And so I'm acting out my tradition and my ancestry of the Bear Clan by being here and by doing my best to improve everything around me.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I love that you say that your intention is for people to be able to come to be and to think and to act. And I found how important that action element is.
Yes.
That I can think all day long how I want to maybe help people or participate in all those things. It's not until I act that I feel the rewards of sharing my gifts. And when I work with clients, that is just like I can be in a horrible mood and then give to someone, help someone through something, take action on something, and it changes my life. It changes the way I feel. It's the action that creates the power in not only other people but in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and actually reaching out to others, and not just it's always nice to share a good word, but then to take it farther and actually do something. Only the other, it really does go both ways.
Right.
So I like that you've added that element in there.
Well,
Um,
I mean, the other aspect is that, I've studied a lot. I'm a filmmaker. I'd like to call myself a writer, but you're not really a writer unless you write every day. But anyway, but I do have my moments of writing what I hope are evocative pieces, or at least they're evocative to me. But so I'm enough of a scientist that I study these things, and some of the things that you've touched is actually proven, which is that your levels of oxytocin and endorphins rise when you smile at other people, when you do a small act of kindness for others, and that lasts for hour after hour after hour in your own bloodstream. So that's been proven. I mean, we have a spiritual tradition of these things. We have all grown up in some kind of spiritual tradition that says that it is a good thing to help our brothers and sisters and to provide good acts in the world, to pay it forward. But there is actually a scientific component of it as well, and I like to meld those things together because that confirms to me. In essence, I'm a cynic. As much as I can say all this wonderful, I don't know, warm and fuzzy stuff, I do have the hard side, which is I like to prove it with science, and certainly epigenetics. Well, that's a fancy ass term, but oops. But it's a fancy term, which shows us that the acts that we have in this moment follow through in the genetics of the second and third and up to the seventh generation forward. So we're not just individuals acting on our own. We have an impact on the world. And in the Bible, it says the sins of the father will be visited on, the children. Well, there's a scientific proof of that we found in epigenetics, is that your habits, your daily habits, how you eat, whether you smoke, whether you've had drought or whether you have feast or famine, will affect other generations. So we are, whether we like it or not, we're all interconnected. And I'm of the belief that it is a beautiful and wonderful thing that when we come to the table with the right attitude and we understand that everybody else succeeding is the greatest success that we can have as individuals, then how can you not succeed when you have that kind of attitude? Because I'm going to give you the best that I've got, because I know that I'm getting the best in return. And Melissa, I just think you're the best thing since sliced bread. So when you succeed, I succeed too.
Yes. My life has definitely been much richer since knowing you. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to know you. I am curious. So when people have come to this land, I'm curious what their reactions have been.
Well, I'd say 98% of the people go into this space of calm. You see people kind of transcend their body, and the quietness and that ancient, it's a rhythm of the ancient. I'm going to refer not to just to the earth, but to the stones, because there's so much stone. I'm surrounded by mountains here, and so you have an alluvial plain and there are a lot of agates and a lot of ancient stones, and I'm just constantly surprised at just the intense beauty and variety of these stones that show up. So I make stone paths all over the place, like a little ant. I'm always moving stones everywhere. Um, and I think that really ancient voice, that people hear that, and you can feel it. You can feel that people kind of get out of their head and start to communicate on that level of millennia. It's the vibration of the stones. So you see people get very, very quiet. So I've had people, reunions from my college days, for instance, that have come out for 4 or 5 days. And it really is, and they'll tell you it's a transformative experience. They're not always sure what the transformation is, but they feel it. And it stays with them for weeks afterwards, and they have to process all of this stuff. In fact, it is a place for reflection and contemplation, and beyond words. It's really connecting to the, if you want to call it the matrix, the foundation, the place beyond the veils of our daily existence, which sometimes can just lead us to believe that we are being sentient and conscious in the world because we're just busy all the time, but really there's a greater experience. And I go back to, I can think of stopping along the street once, and a woman was trying to get a woman. I won't tell you what age she is, because now that I'm older, age is not relevant. It used to be relevant to me when I was younger, but anyway, she was having a hard time getting out of her car, and I was busy and I needed to be somewhere. And I decided to stop because I recognized that that moment might be the most precious moment, the most relevant and the most important moment ever. Who am I to say that of all things that we do in the world, that that moment isn't one of the most, it's not for me to interpret whether it's the most valuable or not. So I stopped, and the experience, and I helped her get out of her car and helped her to where she needed to go. And she was really touched because everybody walks by. Everybody thinks about, their own, the things that they're busy with, and, oh, I don't have time to do that. I'll do it some other time. But it's important to stop. It didn't 90 seconds, a minute and a half to help her get out of the car and then, get her on her way to where the building that she needed to go into. And again, but that moment is kind of locked into my mind. And there are so many moments that we have in the world where we just need to be present, to be in the moment and say, I'm going to do the best that I can in this moment, so that I am adding a wonderful thread that adds to the greater beauty of the world. And I think that this is a place that where you, like it or not, it requires you, and it doesn't require, it catapults you into that moment so that you're conscious. And I can't think of any better way to be a human being but to be conscious and in the moment and present. So I love that I'm seeing that your role in this is that you are then a facilitator for people to come to that moment, to come to that conscious moment, where that space where we are all able to be in the realness. And to be able to see get our priorities, like helping another person, and not be so spun out in what I got to do and where I got to go and what's going on, and what a powerful thing to be a facilitator of that. And I see it it's you and the land in cooperation to help other people. Do I have that right? Yeah, I think that I am a better person for being on this land. And when people come to visit me, I'm always asking people to come visit me, especially people that I think are good people and are doing good acts in the world. because they leave their DNA behind. There is a synergistic effect. I like to think of it as a nautilus, or a spiral staircase. It just adds and adds and adds, so that whatever goodness it extrapolates or becomes, the 1 + 1 becomes a 3, or maybe even a 5. That when you bring good spirits together with good hearts and good minds, that you can change the world. And I think that we do change the world. But I like the fact that you mentioned, and I'm thrilled that you see that I'm a facilitator along in cooperation with the land. It's because I believe that I don't know everything. I know that I know how to make things happen. I've studied and I've trained all my life to make sure that when the door opens, that I'm there and ready to do what needs to be done for the benefit of other people and myself. So I'm kind of a soldier in that way, I guess you would call it. Maybe there's a nicer way to put it, but I'm always ready. But the other part is that I know that other people have gifts, and when they bring those gifts to the table, then your consciousness expands. And the way that I define this retreat center and this refuge is not just about me and what I feel. It's about the information which is revealed to us by the presence of these good spirits and these good heart and good minds. And so, again, it's not about me. It's about facilitating and moving and creating a space for people to come in and feel safe enough that they can contribute their best selves to the moment. And for me, it's an incredible high and blissful to know that I am in partnership with, in fellowship with other people who are all on the same page, who all are able to connect together for the betterment of generations in the past and our ancestors, and generations in the present, and generations in the future. What better way to go through life?
Absolutely, absolutely. So if there are people that want to participate and connect with you and the land and with your vision and the project, what are some ways that people can follow up and take action on this, to contribute to this project, to participate in this project? What can people do?
Well, there's a lot of different levels of participation. One of them is, of course, to be in communication with me, and I'm in communication with some wonderful people that I've met through this campaign in trying to raise money to just keep the mortgage up to date, to get to the next level. We do have architectural renderings, but we need to get to the stage where an architect actually fills out the real plans and so forth. So there's a lot to be done before this happens. The vision of the first architectural renderings is just absolutely marvelous. So we do need somebody that would help. If there's an architect that would like to donate their services or part of their services, or just talk to us about siting and so forth. There's lots of ways on this land. I don't want to divert myself, but there's lots of ways on this land to have, in addition to retreat, pilgrimages. There's enough land to be able to go from site to site and have an experience that one would have in a pilgrimage. For ideas like that, I'm really interested in sustainable environmental and building materials. So anyone who is into urban planning, anyone who would like to have a conversation with me about these things, so that it would be as self-sustaining as possible and and would last a long time, way beyond my lifespan. I'm really interested in that kind of conversation. space. And the third, of course, is that the financial resources. We do have a campaign. We are not even close to half of reaching that campaign, but it'll be on my Facebook page where this video will show up. We'll also have YouTube, and we'll direct people towards a campaign so they can donate. Every little bit helps. You know, $20, $25. Of course, if you have more money, it just allows us to leapfrog and have a quantum leap into the future. So there's a lot of ways to do it. You can do contributions of ideas and skill sets as well as money. So depending on what you what you think that you can afford to give in terms of time and resources, everything is welcome. I believe that everything. I believe that angels come out of the woodwork when we need them to come out of the woodwork, and I'm constantly surprised at how I'm lifted up and maintained by wonderful spirits. And I just, the more good spirits, the better.
Any of this resonates with you and with the viewer, and you want to practice taking action and seeing how good that feels in any small way or big way, whatever is right for you. You know, try it with something small and see how much fun it is to participate. And it's such an easy way to play along and to expand your own reach. And to be more powerful is to share with others and to give and to commune and participate in something that is so heart-centered and has so much dedication and focus to a higher goal and a higher good, with an amazing woman backing the project and holding it and being the foundation for all of this to happen. Maria, thank you so much for spending a little time with me today and sharing this amazing project with me and with everyone watching.
Well, it's a great interview. Thank you so much. And may the Creator bless us all and continue to bless us as we go through days.